What's going on out there, Mystical Illuminations family? I am a star interstellar, also go by Thomas Sockowitz. And first and foremost, as usual, thank you all so much for tuning in. Definitely have a powerful message for you all today. For those of you that are tuned into the Mystical Illuminations monthly newsletter, as I stated in there, this will be a deepening of that message. For those of you that aren't subscribed, go ahead and check that out. There's going to be lots and lots of great new material coming through the Mystical Illuminations newsletter. The overarching message that we have here as we move into Taurus season is the courage to know your value, to know your self-worth, to take action on that value, and especially in Taurus season here is to be able to speak to that value or tune into that value and that self-worth within, and have the courage to speak that into reality, to speak that into manifestation, into existence, or to actually be able to know that and then speak when it's necessary, when we may be confronted with things that may be seemingly opposed to that value or worth. Now, I'd like to take a moment to talk about, when it comes to our true value, our true self-worth, for most people, for a lot of people, our true value and our true self-worth, for almost anyone actually, is well beyond what we can possibly imagine, even in our wildest dreams. And why do I say that? It's because, most people, when they think about self-worth or self-value, they tend to tune into the reflection, right? Things like how much money they're making at their job, or the experiences that they've had in relationships, or anything about the reflection of the reality around them. And of course, this makes a lot of sense because a lot of the things about our reality around us are a reflection of that inner light. The issue with this is that our true inner light, our true self-worth, comes from when we tap into the infinite well, that God source within us. And those things around us, the reality around us, it is a reflection of that connection, of our ability to tap into that energy, and then also the template that inner God source within is projected through. What is this template? How does it work? Well, when we incarnate into this dimension, our energy taps into a crystal. This crystal is our DNA, and that DNA forms a lot of other crystals, right? We have this template, this blueprint, which has to do with our astrology, human design, gene keys. These different templates are the basis of how our inner light, our energy as God source, shines through and projects like a crystal, and a projector projects the reality around us, right? Now, the thing is that reflection has the tendency to have many distortions in it, right? As trauma, as shadows, programming, conditioning. And these different distortions in how we project the reality around us, we see those distorted reflections a lot of times, right? So I'll give you an example. When we're growing up and we have these traumatic experiences in childhood, right? We have these experiences based on the wounds of these templates that we've chosen to incarnate and take on and transmute and shift for the entire collective, the entire planet. We have these experiences from our parents, from our family, friends, and loved ones. And these experiences, that we choose to take on, our light, our empowerment, our sovereignty is taken away from us, right? We give away aspects of our personal power to these these friends, family, teachers, gods, governments, foods, all these different things, right? Anything, because really what's happening is we see the projection outside of us. And if we don't know inherently, if we are inherently tapped into that inner God source within us, there's a confusion that comes in, right? Like our parents, we look to our parents as these kind of like God-like figures, right? That we need, as when we are children, we need them, or so we think our physical vehicles need them for sure, to be taken care of, to be loved, to be nourished, in order to survive in this dimension. And depending on what their programs are, their distortions are about gods, religions, governments, addictions that they have, then those templates are reflected back to us. And as we are these systems that can take these templates and these blueprints, these software type programs into our vehicles, because we are liquid crystals, and then we can, through trauma and programming and conditioning, we can adopt those reflections, those distorted reflections into our system, right? If we look to our masculine, right, like a father figure that we have in our life, depending on what their imprint is of the masculine, right, then we take that distorted template or reflection on as what we feel or think the masculine should be about. Same thing with the feminine, and how they look to or don't look to their inner light, their inner connection to God source. So if we are reflected someone or something that is not tapped into God source, because we may have come into this life with the necessity of going through the experiences to be able to tap into that God source within, then that's what we experience. And we believe that myth, that lie, that illusion, right? And as source creator, as a point of light of source creator, we have the ability to convince ourselves of that lie, that illusion, right? This is our power of free will choice, to trick ourselves into disconnecting from Father, Mother, God source within, that inner source creator. And so once again, we go through these experiences in childhood, and we take on these traumas, these wounds and things like that, and give portions of our value, of our worth, of our light away. And this is very much so like, if we have that connection within, we have that light, that sovereignty, that wholeness, that personal empowerment, then we can look at that like a bank, especially if we're talking about value, we're talking about Taurus season. We can look at that like our own personal bank, our energy reserves within, which are a state of wholeness, of completeness. And we can start to give away portions of the money in that bank, right? But what's interesting about this type of situation is that when we do that, what we're really doing is we're just like hiding that money from ourselves, because they can never truly go away in this type of situation. This is kind of like, and I said in the monthly newsletter, this is like if you were to have a bunch of money, let's say, and you were to go around your house and you were to hide it in places, and then you were to forget that it was there, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there one day and you're like, I'm broke, I don't have any money, like what am I going to do? Right? This is kind of comical, right? When really all of the money, you have plenty of money, it's all just hidden around the house in different spaces, and you forgot about it, right? And so this is how it works, being a multidimensional creator God. And this is what we are stepping into as we enter the Aquarian age, is the Aquarian sovereignty of being a cosmic co-creator, right? And this is why we see things going on in the financial system with cryptocurrency, right? The ability to become your own bank, because this is what true sovereignty, true self-worth and value is all about, is the fact that, over the ages here, and this is how all of these things are coming into they're coming into shifts and changes simultaneously, right? Because these experiences that we have in our personal life on a day-to-day basis, we may look at them and we may think that they're personal, but this is not personal. These are lifetimes, right? Like of ages that are coming to a head, that have been coming to a head for, since January 12th of 2019, right? When Pluto and Saturn, when they conjuncted in 2019, this started the revelations, right? The period of revelations where all of these different ages and the shadows and traumas and programs of these different ages all started coming to a head, to be reviewed, to be revealed, to be broken down, digested, and processed, so that we can come into this new golden age, this new Aquarian golden age, where the true inner king, right, that Christic force, that inner King Arthur, is coming back, right? It's returning within each one of us individually, and we all have the responsibility, if we have chosen to take it in this life, or we want to choose to take it, to really go through and digest and process our own personal slice of that trauma, that programming and conditioning. And as we digest and process that inner trauma and take back those pieces, those bits of value that we've given away over the ages or over our individual lifetime, all of that energy, all of that light starts to come back into us. We choose that inner king or queen within, but this isn't a egoic inner king or queen. This is choosing to align to the true inner king or queen within, that Father, Mother, God source that we have within us, and take back all of those distorted blueprints and reflections. We take them back by confronting them. This isn't about spiritual bypassing, right? This is about being able to face that shadow material, being able to stand in that truth, in that light within, connected to that inner Father, Mother, God source, and stand in the face of those shadows and be able to confront that and look at it and shine that light back to it, to feel those feelings, to really go through that process of transmutation. And when we can stand in the face of those things and be connected to that light within, and to shine the light into those spaces in our subconscious, in our inner underworld, in this world around us, this reflection, then we can bring those bits of power, the energy and light back into us, and recollect all of those aspects of ourself, right? And this is a lot of what this next couple weeks or a few weeks is going to be about. In particular, as we are going into the Aquarian age here, there's a lot of different ages and the shadows and trauma of those ages coming up for review. Of course, as we transition into the Aquarian age, the Piscean age is a big one. But in particular, as we go into Taurus season here, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up to process and digest and transmute from the age of Taurus. And the age of Taurus, is interesting, because this was the time when the Druids were very much shown power. This would have been a matriarchal age, of course, right? When women would have been the overarching power holders in the reality and the dimension. The age of Taurus would have had a lot of incredible, beautiful things about it. Would have been a lot about earth worship, connecting with the trees. Would have had a lot to do with magic. This is when the dragons and the elves and all of these beautiful mystical things would have been commonplace on the earth, right? Especially with that axis of Taurus Scorpio, there would have been a lot of sex magic. There would have been a lot of occult magical practices, all of these different things. Now, every age, though, has its shadows as well. So there would have been the dark side of the matriarchy going on as well, where just like we see a lot in today's world, there is the dark side of the patriarchy, right? We have left over from the age of Aries, we have a lot of this kind of toxic masculine, abusing the feminine and those different things. In the age of Taurus, the axis of Scorpio, there would have been a lot of females in power, a lot of matriarchal power that would have abused and used the masculine for sex slaves, for different sexual things to keep and hold their power into place, especially things around money, right? Because in this Taurus matriarchal age, there would have been a lot around materialism and earth worship and these different things, and the ability to hold that power, that monetary power, especially in the use the let's say the shadow use of sexual energy, and how it can be trapped into keeping people trapped in that energy. Because that's the other thing, is our value, our self-worth, especially when it comes to monetary value or self-worth, is directly related to that Kundalini energy. As that Kundalini energy comes into our body, this is what's really being asked, is to break down that trauma, programming, and conditioning in the genetic system, digest it, process it, and allow that energy to flow more freely, which then we connect with that God source within, and then we receive those reflections back to us. Now, if this information's been helpful for you, if you could go ahead and give this video some ascension process, go ahead and hit the like button, comment. Love to hear anything that you have to say, and share about this. And of course, I'll be doing more videos going deeper into this topic over the next couple weeks when it comes in. And thank you so much for tuning in to Mystical Illuminations. As always, I'm a star interstellar. Check out the links below to follow me on social media, and so much love to you and blessings on your journey, and can't wait to connect with you again soon.